Once upon a time, my little waffles, far across the pale eastern sands, a baby boy bounced from his mother's womb into a dark and dangerous world, into a land well full of hardship, turmoil, and empty handball courts. This boy, starting tiny and growing huge, would one day become a legend in the minds of his minions, a hero in the hearts of his hobbledehoys, the fanciest lad of them all, Spring-Heeled Jack. And this, my dovetails, is the story of how it all started. Now, in the beginning, young Jack was not a rowdy tyke, well full of the jigamaree and the falderoo. The other children might drive their mammas mad with fancy ideas of fun, but young Jack was not made for sportive tricks. He was his mamma's muffin, and he kept to her side, helping in the smelly sport of making matches, which phosphoric occupation was how the family kept fed. They were a poor household with no extra divas for white sugar or white bread, and all 10 of Jack's tiny brothers and sisters must put paws into keeping the darkness of poverty at bay. Dipping lucifers at 10 glories a decade leaves little room for boisterous fun. Well, dingy was the rundown tenement in which Jack's family lived, perched atop a noisome blind tiger from which issued rousting and revelry all hours of the night, illegal whist games, bitter beer, and up against the wall fiddling. Well, dingy was the rundown room into which Jack's family squeezed, tiny oil lamp the only tiny light, tiny window opening into tiny alley, and tiny pinch-faced siblings with cold blue fingers, dipping matchsticks into glowing blue poison. Instead of a cat, the family kept Hunger, which crouched in the corner of the tiny room, wiggling its tail and licking its prickly chops, waiting, just waiting. They had each other, but they had nothing else, not even shoes to cover their frigid toes. Their days were drab and dreary. But at night, dear doorknobs, when the dipping was done and the little pots of phosphorus illumined the shadows, Jack lay in his nest of rags, tucked up against his baby mice siblings, and he dreamed away the pallid gray world, the knobby fingers, the tightening tummies, each drab day dribbling into another drab day, endlessly endless. At night, Jack dreamed of colors. Glimmering, glittering, glistening, glowing colors. Cyan, jade, celadon, amber, cobalt, wheat, orange, plum, lavender, and magenta. But the color that shone the most through Jacko's dreams was the brilliant tang of red. Cerise, sanguine, vermilion, carmine, crimson, gules, rust, rose, cochineal. Rushing friendly warm red, delicious and hot. Well, my nifty needles, once a week Jack's mama would take the little boxes of matches and place them into her market basket for to redeem. The other children stayed home under the concern of Jack, but the baby who coughed went with Mama, wrapped in newspaper and tucked also into the basket, sleeping uneasily among the boxes of spark. At the factory of Zebulon, Quarrel, and Dow, manufacturers of lucifers, phosphates, and triggers, Jack's mama would turn in the week's 100 boxes and receive into her thin hand 1 dull gold diva and 11 dingy glories. And on this happy day there would be moldy cheese and squashed kale pie for supper. But one day, Jack's mama could carry neither basket nor baby.